me too.
She not sitting here by herself going.
Yeah, right, it's just.
Stop this, is okay. Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission meeting. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I'm the planning director for the city of Kingston. Before we start, I just have a couple of really quick announcements. First of all, if you do have a cell phone on you, please put it on silent mode so that it doesn't interfere with our meeting. If you need to use the restrooms, the women's room is right outside this door on your right, and men's is past the stairs on your right. If we have an emergency, we just ask that you please use the stairs and not the elevator. If you do need assistance, ask and we will help you. If you have any conversations other than those that are being held with the commission members themselves, we just ask you to take that outside of the room, so that you don't interfere with the other meeting discussion. You can use the chambers, which are free this evening as well. I think that is basically it. I do want to let everybody know that we are recording and we are live streaming. So I want everybody to please be aware of that. And with that, I'm going to start the meeting at 6:32 p.m. And we have in absence of our chairman, Mark Rumblatt, we have Andrea Putz, who is our architect, is the acting chair this evening, and she will introduce the members and open the meeting.
Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Andrea Putz. I am the architect of the commission and acting chair for tonight. Mark, we hope you're doing well. I'll start off with introducing everybody. Eric
Winchell, Commissioner. Kevin McAvoy, Commissioner.
Nettie Morano, Commissioner.
Robert Toller, Commissioner. I'm Ethan Dickman. I'm the Historic Preservation Administrator.
and Sue already introduced herself. First item on the agenda here, we need to adopt the minutes from the October meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review? And if not, any changes to make? All is well. All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Kevin? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All aye. I'm aye as well. I actually have to recuse on the second item of business, as my relationship is, I work for the architect who is consulting on this project. So I'm gonna have to turn it over to Kevin, and I will be back after this one.
Okay, so yeah, I'll be the chair for this session. We'll go over discussion if there's any discussion on this.
Just let Julie Ratner, do you want?
Scott Dutton, Principal Dutton Architecture here on behalf of the project. I assume that everyone has reviewed Mike Moriella's comprehensive memo.
Did anybody have any comments or questions this time?
You do it for me.
No. Then I guess we'll move forward. I have no objection to extending this, and if anybody else does, I'll move forward with the.
Just recognize the seeker, that's type 2. Just recognize it as type 2.
Well, it is. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Yeah, it's a type 2 action, but it went through secret quite a while ago. So.
It went, the original application
Right.
was type 1, and it did go through a very lengthy.
Yeah, but it became that's
procedure.
what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
But the renewal and the extension is a type 2 ministerial action, so it's type 2.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under secret.
So moved, Robert.
And second. Okay. We'll call the vote on that. Eric? Aye. No?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Done the sequence. And I think the next order of business would be the findings of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll start reading this then. Findings of fact as basis for certificate of appropriateness, the Kingstonian, November 6, 2025. The Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission, HLPC, for the city of Kingston makes the following findings, reach in accordance with the review procedures set forth in section 405.26.L.10 of the city of Kingston's form-based zoning code. Following determinations regarding the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness for the development proposal known as the Kingstonian, address addendum material submitted on October 22nd, 2025 by the applicant, as well as original submissions by consultants and interested members of the public. The HLPC further notes that the evidentiary record included material offered for consideration of the closure of Fair Street Extension, massing, scale, visual elements, fire and public safety issues, and uses at the project site. The aforementioned material has been thoroughly reviewed for compatibility with the historic character of the Kingston Stockade local, state, and national historic district. HLPC commissioners present find as fact that the Kingstonian, located at 9-17 and 21 North Front Street and Fair Street Extension, sections block and lot 48.80-1-25.100 and 48.80-1-26 in the Stockade Historic District by the applicant and owner, Kingstonian Development LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed prior to and at this meeting, is compatible with the historic character of the Kingston Stockade Historic District for the following reasons. The proposed work is to take place at parcels formerly occupied by a city Kingston on-grade parking lot, an abandoned portion of public roadway, including also two structures, a warehouse building and an abandoned restaurant, along with associated site improvements. Based on the resources HLPC customarily consults, the HLPC understands that the existing warehouse structure does not appear on the 1858 map of Ulster County by J. Is depicted as a smaller structure on the 1870 Beers map of Roundout, Kingston, and Wilbur, and is shown on the 1914 Codwise maps. That documentation on the New York State Cultural Resource Inventory System, known as CRIS, was studied, and it is recognized under two. The structure was built either in the 1870s or the 1880s as a three-story frame hotel. That the structure was bricked over frame siding, removed porch, adding one-story brick section to the front and creating an L shape circa 1946. Although not an exhaustive list of reference materials, the HLPC can reasonably estimate the construction and historical transition of the building. The proposed work will involve the demolition of existing structures, construction of a 420 vehicle parking garage, approximately 9,000 square feet of retail and restaurant space, 32-room boutique hotel, 143 mixed residential units, including 14 affordable units, open pedestrian plaza with public-oriented amenities, and Americans with Disabilities, aka also known as ADA, compliant walking bridge to connect with the adjoining Kingston Plaza. This work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property. The HLPC recognizes that the project's substance has not changed since the HLPC issued a preservation notice of action for the Kingstonian project and the owners on March 3rd, 2022, and the subsequent one-year extension by the HLPC under a certificate of appropriateness on December 5th, 2024, both of which are appended to and made a part hereof to this certificate of appropriateness. Onward we go. The HLPC has examined the project in accordance with the 5 criteria listed under section 405.26.L.10B of the form-based code and finds as follows. The effect of the proposed work in changing, destroying, or affecting the exterior features of the landmark or landmark district upon which such work is done. The HLPC continues its finding that the demonstrable change within the stockade district associated with this project will not be detrimental to the district as a whole. The HLPC's review of evidence regarding comparison scales, massing, materials, architectural features, provision for parking, and contemplated uses support the HLPC's conclusion that the development will enhance the district. The HLPC agrees with the statement found in brief 14, which states that, quote, new construction should be differentiated from the historic buildings, unquote. Though this brief specifically applies to additions onto existing historic buildings, the Kingstonian buildings are in essence architecturally consistent additions to the stockade district as a whole. 2. The relationship between the results of such work and the exterior architectural features of other neighborhood improvements. The HLPC continues its determination that the project adequately takes into consideration the immediate surrounding buildings in addition to the various points of consideration under the first criterion as noted above. The HLPC further confirms that elements such as recessed doorways for entrances off North Front Street are appropriately incorporated in line with the existing streetscape, along with other architectural vernacular to complement the surrounding district. 3. The factors of aesthetic, historical, and architectural values and significance, architectural style, design, arrangement, texture, material, and color. The HLPC continues its findings based upon a review of the documents and sample materials submitted by the applicant, that the project satisfies these key style and design factors. Further, the HLPC credits the explanation of evaluation under this criterion as authored by Scott Dudley, registered architect, noting also the reference to the inspection report dated August 28th, 2019 by Brinier and Larios, PC, with a determination that the current structure would not be economic or practically accomplished on this property unless the current warehouse structure or structures are removed. The HLPC has confirmed that no significant historic features remain on the current structure and that its siding, cornice, detail siding, covered walkway shutters, and windows were removed in the 1950s or thereabout. 4. The special character and aesthetic interests that any structure adds to the area. The HLPC continues its conclusion that the new construction to the west side of Fair Street Extension will be unique, respecting the character of the historic district and properties by incorporating extent elements as discussed above. East side construction will not only revitalize the historic property, but return the character of a former amenity which has otherwise been lost. The HLPC finds persuasive the earlier review of the projects designed by the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. 5. The difficulty or impossibility of reproducing any feature or structure involved because of its design, texture, material, position, or detail. The HLPC recognizes that the bold text from, and you can't see the bold text, so feature is the word that's bold, above represents language in the current form-based code, which was modified since the original determination by the HLPC was rendered. The HLPC has reviewed the application under the new language and affirms its original findings. That based upon its review of historical data, the strict replication and reproduction of historic features and structures would be counter to the intent of understanding the historical significance and progression of history which the city seeks to promote. So this references 5 criteria, and I think we're moving into paragraph 6. We're good on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Paragraph 6. The HLPC thus concludes that after reviewing the entirety of the administrative record, that the following statements are as made in the communication from Scott WRA dated January 30th, 2022 remain accurate. Quote, the proposed construction on the west side of the Fair Street extension will be unique and need not reproduce any kind of original structure. Elements of the vernacular architecture in the Stockade district will be utilized in the development of the exterior. And quote continued, the proposed construction of the east side of the Fair Street extension will honor but not duplicate the details of the historic hotel building, especially because the existing building will be wholly reconstructed and no extant features from the original building remain. The National Park Service Preservation Brief 14 recommends that new construction should be differentiated from the historic buildings. The exterior of the building will be constructed in such a way that materials, proportions, and general yet simplified details will be implemented. But a direct copy of the original building will not be created. Therefore, the proposed construction will reflect a progression of the architectural style of the Stockade Historic District, which is consistent with Preservation Brief 14 recommendations. 7. The HLPC finds that the project as defined will not degrade the desirable character of the Kingston Stockade Historic District, but will maintain harmony with respect to the district insofar as the character, materials, color, architectural details are concerned and will prevent degradation of property. It is further identified that the proposal will serve to safeguard and enhance public health, promote safety, and preserve the character of the Kingston Stockade Historic District by providing a unique public benefit and adding needed housing and additional commercial activity. The HLPC supplements its above findings with the following considerations and requirements. It is the HLPC's understanding that the record made herein by the applicants fully complies with the procedural and substantive requirements set forth within the City of Kingston Form-Based Code, which governs the issuance of a certificate of appropriate. Pursuant to section 405.26.L.10 of the City of Kingston's Form-Based Zoning Code, this certificate of appropriateness shall be valid for 1 year. Any material changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by this commission prior to the work being performed. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. All demolition of the project site shall be completed in accordance with the City of Kingston Code and pursuant to all statutory requirements. Based upon the preceding findings of fact, it's proposed to resolve that on the 6th day of November 2025, the Commission grants a certificate of appropriateness to the above referenced applicant. The work is described herein and in its application to the Commission. Such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Nay.
Okay, do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go on to the vote. Eric?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
And I'm Kevin, and I'm an aye as well.
Thank you.
Eric?
Good to see you, Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you send everybody?
She's coming.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 93 Wall Street, the Van Steenberg House. Anyone here for that application that was raised?
Where do you want us?
If you want to function on the chair, or we can do another one.
This is the meeting.
Yeah.
And this is all, that's no. It's,
Let us adjourn.
this one will be.
So, Would you like to tell us a bit more about what you've come back to us with?
Have them introduce themselves.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. You know, introduce themselves.
Martha Bear Dallas, the homeowner of the property.
Minutes. Let's-
And I am Jay Elsifer, contractor.
Thank you.
So yes, would you mind, going over with us what, you submitted for this, most recent set of applications? I believe there were some, 34% windows.
Right, so one of the documents I sent to Ethan was examples of stone houses in Ulster County with dormers.
Okay.
Ethan's pulling them up, what you submitted.
Okay, so we have some other stone buildings in the area that have dormers on them with double hung windows. Can you go back over again, if you would, the dormers that are on your structure, they were added at a later date, yes?
Yes, in the 30s.
Okay, and the windows that were put in then, were those the casements or were those double hungs, or do we know?
On the front were casements.
Okay. And those were the ones that were, we believe to be originally there until the roof had to go in or was repaired and then they were removed, correct?
Correct.
So if the windows that were there previously were casements and those were what were designed and built with the house, what lends itself to them wanting to use double hungs instead?
Can I say? Those dormers, I believe, must have been added like in the 30s, because that original stone part of the house was the original part of the house. And in the 30s, those two windows that were in the front are exact duplicates of the ones that are on the wings that were done in the 30s.
Yeah.
So it's then when they poorly put those dormers in, and they put them, so, you know, to me, that if you look at the front of the house and you picture it with casement windows or something of the sort and stuff, I mean, it's just, it doesn't go with just that single section of the house. Whereas in both of the wings where they have those that were put in the 30s, so the correct windows. So that was like, to me, that was just our own personal choice, that there was absolutely no other choice but to go with affixed windows to match the ones downstairs, which we have to keep. They're beautiful old windows. They're going to keep them going. But the ones upstairs were the ones that were stuck on very poorly in the 30s. So our option was to put the wrong windows back in, or to go with a period correct window, which would have been the fixed light windows that did not open, or the double hungs, which is proper for just that, specifically that center section. And in the rest of the house, it has those windows, but they were done in the 30s, so they are probably going to be the correct windows, you know, in our opinion, you know, to put in. But in my mind, I think I was the one that said it to her, is that, I mean, windows, and then, and because the ones that were done in the 30s on that particular section of the house, to put the wrong windows back in, and especially to go with like a casement window, which would have been the wrong window, which opens the wrong way, it just aesthetically, in our opinion, it was not in character at all with just specifically that front section of the house, which is the original part of the house.
So
And that's our opinion.
understood. What was designed and built was a pair of dormers with casement windows in them. And I think what we're struggling with is despite the fact that there are other structures in the area that have double hungs and they may or may not have looked correct for that time period, whoever designed and built those dormers and the windows decided not to go with that same aesthetic. And I think that's part of what our commission is trying to discuss at this point as to whether or not that should remain. I think that's what makes the house unique in and of itself.
At the last meeting, you had all reviewed the Secretary of Interior standards and you were, they pulled those up for you. One of the things that I think Chair Grundleck is not here was concerned about was that changes to a property that have acquired historic significance in their own right will be retained and preserved. And you mentioned that these are from the 30s, or the dormers were built in the 30s, but this is a change that is far beyond the 50-year arbitrary threshold that the National Register places on things. And the commission, you're interpreting it as a significant feature, right?
That's an effect to what I think I'm saying, but I mean, I would defer to my other co-commissioners as to if they have a similar thought in mind or something different. I mean, we could put a pin in that for the moment and examine the windows that were also submitted as a part of a quote and just say, do the windows that are the replacement windows that were submitted, would those work at all? They're clad windows, casement, French casement that open out. Do those appear to be similar to and the former windows that were there? There's one that was French casement that opens out, so it's two leaves. And then there was another one that was submitted that has what's called a simulated check rail that goes essentially down the middle to make it appear as though it's a pair of French casement. It's a French casement window, but it opens just in one direction, not two split.
We don't have a picture of of this window. It's very.
The actual windows are Williams lumber in the Marvin display. They're both,
They're made, the sashes are made the same. It's clad, it's all wood on the inside, it's clad on the outside. But in lieu of paint, it's wood on the inside. It's like an energy efficient window. But like to me, which I pointed out to her, is like if they put the dormers on in the 60s and they put plastic windows up there, and I wouldn't want to replace them with plastic windows because they weren't the right windows.
Just for that front of it.
That's not what we're discussing, so I think we really have to stick to what,
I think it would roll.
the window units that were removed and what, obviously, unfortunately, have been destroyed. So the commission has to really assess and evaluate what the replacement is for the front, at least the front. I think the front facing ones are really very critical. And this is not unlike other applications that we've considered previously, where similar windows were rejected because of their materials and how they were, and their integrity. So I think that's what you really have to take a hard look at what these windows are made up of.
So again, just to reiterate, the former windows were wood. These are wood clad windows, which means that they have either vinyl or aluminum exterior, which I believe with Marvin it's a vinyl exterior. Excuse me, it's aluminum. So that would cause a material change to the exterior.
They also open out.
Yes, which given today's standards of operation, that would be very difficult to achieve. So having an outward opening casement, French casement would not be I don't think the operation of it opening outwards versus inwards is a detriment. When you're going to see it, it's going to be primarily in the closed position. Its appearance would match that of a inward opening. The alternative to that would be if we wanted it to have the exact same opening, action of opening, have to be fabricated from scratch.
Any other commissioners have any thoughts?
The windows have been purchased.
Yeah, no, they're installed.
They're installed.
They're installed.
Double was installed.
I would hope it would go by aesthetics and what the right windows are to be and
So
they just look, I just thought that it was just so obvious the right choice. That's that period. That is that period. Those are the only choice. Logic to me and the other ones just destroy the historical value of the house. We went to so much trouble restoring. We did upper built-in gutters with exactly the same shape that they were designed, with exactly buying all the custom moldings and not changing the thing, and restoring and fixing the dormers because you either had to take them off or fixing the door. Everything was like restored to the height. And even done with traditional time-proven flat panel soldered methods that of the time, like everything was like restored. And all of the flashings on those houses are 150 plus years. You know, they just keep, they can go over with the slate or copper, and none of it, gutters or overhangs or anything have to be fixed. Everything that was taken apart was dust. The pictures are there. There was no structural beams. I mean, I had to load all the way to the roof onto the beams, onto the house we built from scratch. And in the back too, it was just a nightmare. We went through incredible amounts of money and time to do exactly what was there, matching moldings and shapes and flashings.
Right, and I don't think anybody's really, disputing. I mean, I think we all appreciate the work and the care that has been done to some of the other restoration work on the building. Obviously, our goal is to really maintain as much of the integrity of the structure as we potentially can. And, when it comes to windows, they are an integral architectural feature, element of the building itself. And so, changing them to a different style, first of all, while it works in other places, in other similar stone buildings, that's not what was here. And so that's a big change. That's a big material. That's a big difference in design. And so then we try and find something maybe that is more in keeping with the design, but then we also are faced with the material and, looking at the proposed windows, materially, they don't, in my opinion, don't really match. I agree with Andrea about the operation. I think I could live with, the operation not going interior, but going to the exterior. I think that's a reasonable accommodation request for a new window. But I do think
the other windows didn't go in, they went out.
oh, they did go out. I thought they
Could have sworn
I
there's a
thought they
picture that went in.
said that they went in.
There's one in particular that.
Well, I lived in the house.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's good. Because that looks like it's going in there.
Yes.
If that's taken from the outside, that looks like it swings in.
Either way, out is the only operation that
I mean, it's
crafted now, so.
Yeah.
Out would be fine.
Yeah, there's like two wings all the way to the outside, but then there's two connecting symmetrical kitchens or what have you that go to those wings, and that's that 30s period that still has all those windows, which
Has the
totally
double hung.
want to, honor what was there. But when they did those, unfortunately, they powerful dormers. They're not even structurally put on, they're just laying on the decking on the roof.
Andrea's are put in summaries.
And they put those
Put in the 30s and
hideous,
it's
to me, hideous
almost
windows.
100 years later. So,
Hideous small period.
So do we feel that we have enough to make any sort of determination at this point? Do we want to kind of go around the table here and say, is anything that's been proposed here, whether the double hungs that are in place or the proposed clad casement windows that are suggested, are any of those items appropriate?
I would just like to ask your expertise as
Yeah.
architect, which you think, or what you think, how should we proceed?
What I find unique about this is that I agree, and I have not seen the structure, obviously you have, you know it far better than I do. But it marks a unique point in time when these dormers themselves were added, A, and B, that whoever designed and built them decided to make a conscious choice to not go with the standard that was done in the area,
Yeah.
right? That I think gives it a unique appearance. And to me, it would be not just a material change, but a visual and a artistic change to go away from that and do a double hung. So that's my opinion of that. If the windows were completely obliterated and they had been absolutely falling out, there was nothing left, no glazing, barely a piece of the sash left, then I could understand maybe making a material change and saying, okay, or if they had been, they were here in all of the photographs that you have. And, understandable that in the field, when it came to, there was a photograph, I think, of where the roof was completely gone and it looked like powder. The window still was there. So.
Panes of glass, the glass is falling out of the windows, there's missing
The
glass.
window itself,
Buttons
the
were-
sashes are still, the
That-
window is there.
That window is probably
Do you still have those windows?
there's broken windows. You can see the other, there's a window with a garage or something, but the windows downstairs are a little better, but there was no glazing in them. There was no glass in them. There was just the storm window, which in and of itself had cracked glass. I had to take it out because it was a hazard. It's above the sky.
So I think the crux of the matter that Andrea is trying to get at, and I'm just going to kind of rephrase it, is that when a structure is like completely derelict and missing a lot of its character defining features, a researcher and a rehabber of it has greater flexibility potentially to make an inference of what would be there. But in this case, you had the material evidence of what was there, and you can document a period from which it came. And the commission's mandate is for restoration of features whenever possible. And there's visual evidence that shows a window that appears from the commission's previous comments as restorable. And what instead is in place are windows that differ in design, materiality, and operation.
Operation, again, is a forgivable.
Yes, you said.
Right. So I think that's the struggle that we're all looking at here is how can we prove the double hungs, A, that are presently in place, and B, even the materiality of the alternative which you submitted to us also does not match what was formerly there. Clad is not a wood window. A wood window, it has no cladding on it.
Another potential question to ask about the proposed casement windows is that All three of them are proposed as 8 by 8 outward opening, but the historic structure, the center street facing gable had a 10 by 10. So the question is there something that would more accurately replicate that as well?
And I'm not 100% sure that they're even clad. They're so, they may be painted. I'm just like assuming. It's very, very hard to tell. Clad, it's obviously not like
Well, it says flat.
that. Those are,
Right.
those are not the ones that are in there. I'm not sure if those are clad, then I'd be more inclined to believe that the double homes are, but it's hard to tell. They look like they're painted. That's the look of it.
Well, I mean, that's the Marvin window. Good. It says clad exterior.
Stone white clad exterior, okay. So, they probably are, okay. But they do, that's not like a shiny aluminum or anything like that. It's made to look like paint on the outside, and the inside is wood. And they're true divided lights. It's not a divider or anything like that. It was.
So, you put in the replacement screen. Really, they're in.
They're really in.
But you're willing to put in other windows. Clad windows. Is that right?
Yeah, I went and I got two different quotes for casement windows from Marvin and submitted them to the committee. But they've only shown one of the windows. They've not shown the other window.
Well, I think the
What's your
question is,
question?
you're willing to change the windows back out.
We would prefer to keep the double hung. If you force us to take out the double hung and put in a casement window, we will do that.
What is the commission's opinion on replacing what was there with double hung? Is the commission in favor or opposed to that?
Opposed.
Yes. Okay, so,
Because
all
there
right,
isn't all.
so we've established that, all right. So I guess now the next thing is that they went out after last month's discussions where we went through all of the information. We talked about Secretary of Interior standards. They went and they found these windows at Marvin, and they've presented them to us as an option to consider as a replacement window. So the question now is, does the commission feel that the clad windows that they're proposing are a viable substitute as a restoration?
Is there an alternative to that out there? Is there a solid?
I think that, there's a couple of alternatives. Yeah, I mean, I think working first with a window preservationist would be a good first step to look at and think about what some alternatives could be. I think Ethan made a good point that, all of the windows were not the same window when they were put in back in the 30s. They all functioned the same, but they were different panes. You had 8s and 10 in the middle, right? So
It's a choice. Or,
that set off that center, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is a design feature and, should be adhered to. So it becomes whether or not you feel the clad windows that are being proposed are acceptable, or if you want to continue and have them, do a little bit more research and give them a time period to come back with potentially some other alternatives, which is something you have done also in the past with applicants. Not a month, but give them a fair amount of time, a few months to really think about it and look and see what some options could be.
And in the meantime, they have the current windows in place.
Yeah, it would also strongly encourage, looking and maybe working with a window preservation expert, to see what their thoughts are. You've done, because you really have done some terrific work there on the
Yes.
building,
Very much. So.
to maintain its character and its integrity. I don't want the windows to be something that kind of puts it, yeah,
It changes it.
yeah,
That's
makes that change, because what you've done is, incredible. And so you'd like to continue in that vein.
I would want to echo, this is one of the city's highly significant structures. And your good stewardship and restoration of the box gutters and roof is really something very commendable.
So let's complete the package.
We feel wholeheartedly how important the windows that are in the shadows there, like to the right, because those are those windows, and the ones that you can see, just, and which are, have got to be done, yeah, absolutely. With like, then put on those windows, because those we really want, the right windows. And now, so we're going for the look, I think it bothers both of us tremendously that,
You can come off the National Historic Register. There is a case that if a house has something happen to it that is against its design, it can come off the registry, and that's fine with us.
we're trying to, just do everything. The fence, we have
It's a
the
house.
best, I have the best people, the front porch, we're like saving the whole work. I'd like paid respect to all the other mechanics there. They completely changed us, and I talked to her that shelling out a whole lot more money for copper as opposed in the whole house. We restored every overhang in the whole house and walls. Right.
Well, you went through the effort
Really long.
of trying to find a casement window, which we appreciate. If you would go an extra step further and find a French casement that is not clad, that would be suitable for these openings. We would very much appreciate the look.
Well, give me 6 months and I'll work on it.
How about if we take the cladding off of the sashes and paint them and put them back on?
You would probably destroy the warranty on the windows if you do that. Yeah.
We just don't want to destroy the look of the house. We think that is beautiful. That's what we like that. That's why we thought it was very correct and.
Well, as our commission has said many times now, though that look may have looked correct for a number of other houses in the area, whoever designed and built the dormers on this house with the windows made a conscientious effort and change by not putting on double hungs. And so to put on double hungs would not be genuine to the house, the way that it was designed and built.
So my point is, if that was done in the 60s and they put vinyl replacement windows in there, then
Then
I
we'd
would
be
be
having a
putting
different
them back.
conversation, but unfortunately, that's not what happened.
No, it isn't, but it's.
We would definitely be having a different conversation if that was the case. But that's not what's happened here.
So the commission has there's 4 windows that were in question. There's 3 front, and then there was the side window. You do also have to address the side window discussion.
Yeah, show the picture of the side. And that's because they're visible from the public right of way. That's the 4th window.
That's the new one, right? That's the new. That's the same.
So you can
Reveal.
separate them.
That's the bathroom.
You think that the side window is suitable, you can allow for that to stay the way it's been replaced and repaired. And then you can deal with the front windows solely if you want to do that.
Is
Or you
that-
can put them all, keep them all in one package.
Is this window that we're looking at present, was that a clad window or a wood window?
It must be a clad window. It is, they're all the same series. It's more of an elevate. It's a high-end semi-stock. It's a premium Marvin window without going completely custom.
And this was also a casement window. What was there beforehand?
Yes, that's the same window. I think it was like it opened down. I didn't put the window in.
It opened out, it was a casement window.
That one open that way?
Mhm.
Oh,
But I mean, a
That's what I
sash
thought.
is a sash and
Yeah.
the cladding on it is a superficial piece of 027 aluminum. It's just like a thin film that can come right off the window. And that sash could probably be treated and primed and painted. So it's wood,
I wouldn't-
so
yeah.
it absolutely is a viable possibility to unclad tape view. But it is very hard to tell that that cladding is not paint. I've seen windows that are obviously aluminum clad with shiny aluminum. That's a different story. But that Marvin is using it as basically as a hardy replacement for paint.
I really feel like I take that.
If that would please you. Then it could be primed and painted because there's nothing wrong with a sash. It's a pre-engineered sash and that it's just a piece of aluminum.
So if you're willing at this point to look into finding a suitable wood windows for the front of the house, then I think this one should also be added as well. It's a clad window, and I understand that you could potentially take it off, but I don't think you want the homeowner to have to deal with the lack of warranty, because I think if you tamper with the window, that would void the warranty.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about a warranty in a window that's well engineered that you take care of.
I wouldn't be opposed to what Jay is recommending.
We don't care about
That
warranty.
is, that is,
Save so
that
much
is a
heat.
risk you will
Put in-
take, and that's up to you if you do that. But the question I think still remains is, would you be willing to look into wood French casement windows on the front of the house? Trying to find.
Well,
similar
I'll
lighting.
investigate. I need 6 months to do it.
I think
That's not saying
far.
what we're going to do at the end with it. You asked me to investigate to be at this meeting today. I did so. Give me 6 months for the next thing.
Respectfully, I think 6 months is completely unreasonable.
I don't even know where to go to.
Google. This would be my first suggestion.
There is something called the Wood Window Preservation Alliance that has a directory of specialists in that field, and they may be able to provide guidance on that also. There are a number of those specialists in the Hudson Valley, but also beyond New York State. Many of whom do work in this area. So there should be, or is, that specialty. It just would require a little bit of finding somebody who's able to at the time. Certainly in the office can help connect you. So that may help to, mitigate.
I would still like 6 months. I could come back sooner, but I'm busy with my business. My husband's busy with his business. So give us that courtesy, please.
Do that on an application. Can we do that on an application? What's the timeline? On the application? Or
You
just
would-
step forward?
Essentially, you would deny the application in front of you, and then the way it was written for this would be to deny the application that was presented for the windows that are being replaced. And then it has an extension, I think we built in a 90 day and then additional 60 day. So 5 months, basically.
without them having to start over with a new application, right?
It would be a new application.
So then we would pay another fee.
It would be, right, it would be another $50 fee.
Well, we don't want to pay that $50 fee. We're in this process. You're working with people who need to be considerate of circumstances.
We just look at the code. I think there might be one option. It would have to be and by your verbal steer the owner, so you can verbally make it tonight. I think there's a mutual consent. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, it does say that the HLPC must make a decision 90 days after a complete formal application is filed, or within such further time as the applicant may, in writing, allow. So you would need to give us a statement in writing saying that you consent to an extension.
I'll do that.
Did that email or does she have to like present you with?
An email would be,
Yeah, an email. Yeah.
would be fine.
Emails.
Thank you.
And then that would, so if we have to make sure, what was the 90 days? You figured that out? Since it's been a couple months, it might be before your.
The 90 days is November 26th.
Okay,
So
so I think what the commission should do is you can take an action to table this with one of the conditions being that we receive the written statement by the November 26th date to extend it, otherwise it is denied. And then they can just reapply at, right.
now, if they ask for it to be tabled, is there a date by which that all parties should reconvene? Should that?
Well, I
be
think-
stipulated?
She's mentioned 6 months. We had 5 months kind of in our minds, so I'm not gonna quibble over a month. I would be fine with 6 months.
Or sooner if you figure out. Sure. What you want.
Yes.
So no later than June of 25, 26.
It would be from today.
Yeah.
No, so
It's the calculator's not cooperating.
So May.
it would just be 6 months from today's date. If that sounds reasonable.
Thank you.
All right, so give me a minute to resubmit. Right here.
Well, if we're just tabling it, so we still have to make.
Well, you're gonna have to table with the condition that they
Submit a written statement by November 26th. And, asking for an extension. That,
right.
that we shall reconvene within 6 months.
And of course, if you find something sooner than the 6 months, please contact us and, we'll move this along. Okay, so table with the written statement of the owner received by 11/26/25 to request her consent to a 6-month extension for determination of HLPC. If consent is not received, the COA shall be denied. Deemed denied, okay? Does that sound?
Does we still have to seeker with this?
Huh?
Do we still have to do anything with seeker with this?
This would be, that would, yeah, that would be type 2.
Oh, it'd be type 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's another page. They have to have reasons for denial.
But we aren't denying, we're just tabling, right?
Well, if they don't, you're tabling, but she has to give you the consent letter by the 26th, which I'm sure is gonna come in. I'm hoping, she's making the statement tonight that she will submit it, so I'm sure that will happen. But if that doesn't, by chance that she does not submit it, then you, if you don't take action by the 26th, by default, her application is approved. So you have to build into your table tonight that your decision is to table it for the time being until the 26th, if she submits that letter. If she fails to submit that letter, it's not received, then the COA for the original application is denied.
It kicks in.
And we just shall be deemed denied. And you
Triggers
just
the
say,
denial.
what can say based on, no. Where the SOI was. That it violated. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Code per HLPC discussion. Okay. Right.
Hopefully they agree.
Well, they have to.
Well, they said just per the discussion.
Oh, okay.
Didn't happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so
Expedite this if you did the letter, the request now? Would that expedite what you're doing? The language on the.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, I'm sure we'll get it in the next day or two. I think it's fine.
I don't know if it's through all these contingency clauses that we're drafting on the spot.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So he's saying if she writes something really quickly now, then you don't have to write all of
Yeah.
that.
Would you be amenable to doing that or to email?
Well, if you have a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Hold on, could be a paper, I paper.
Is it appropriate to have it on Dutton signature letter?
Got some line paper.
That would be better.
It's done.
This is great. Guys, think to do something.
Great.
Well, because can't have that. So I'm going to use this one. That's all it says. It is. So use this one. Scratch. This one. I'm just gonna say. Able and accept. With statement of owner to consent. It was 6 months. See. See.
Don't sit very often, people, right?
So, no, knowing later that it should be split. No, or. 26. Okay.
All right. Okay, so I think
It's almost.
that she said that you got it.
Should I read her letter as well?
Into the record.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, read it into the record. So this is garbage.
I'll read her letter first.
Yep.
All right. Dated November 6th, 2025 to the City of Kingston Historic Commission. From Martha Bear Dallas regarding request for extension. We are requesting a 6-month extension to research wood windows for 93 Wall Street, Kingston, New York, 12401. You have lovely. Far better than mine. Okay, then I make a motion to table, and accept the written statement of the owner to consent to a 6-month extension on the HLP decision, no later than May of 2026. Do I hear a second? Eric. All those in favor, Eric.
Aye.
Kevin.
All right.
That is aye. Right. And I also vote. So we will see you hopefully unless.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your listening to it.
Thank you.
Okay. That one is.
Okay. 44 Beale Street. Someone here? Yes. Yeah. There. Yeah.
This is one of those that shared areas. Sometimes they don't.
You would be so kind as to introduce yourselves real quick for the record and if you give us a quick overview. What, your report?
My name is Phyllis Brown. And this is my son Corey Carpenter. And we're here in regards to 44 Mill Street. We are doing the best that we can to try to restore it. We had breach of trust with the sibling that was maintaining, but did not maintain. So it's not in the best of conditions right now.
How long has it been since anybody occupied it?
Oh gosh, it's been a while.
Okay.
Because the sibling that was supposed to be taking care of it, was going to do some things on his own. And he had it, basically gutted out.
Okay.
And I can't remember how long it was, been occupied. It's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a while. We would love to restore it. Has a lot of sentimental value to us. I'm getting ready to tear up now. Oh gosh.
Has Ethan talked to you about, I know you met with Ethan, talked to you about like the tax credits and other opportunities for some funding assistance, financial assistance, if the restoration work is done in accordance with, what we were talking about with the last person, the Secretary of Interior standards?
Yes, he has.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
We're looking to try to get some financial assistance because we have,
Mm-hmm.
be honest, like I said, breach of trust, and we have nothing. This will be my 3rd year of taking over to maintain what we have.
So I understand the building department did a recent inspection of the premises and issued a report. Have you've received that report from them?
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts in terms of, I know there's some violations there. Have you given any thought to like how to approach addressing the issues that they've brought up? I mean, do you have a game plan, I guess is what I'm asking on what,
Well, first things first, I can only do what we can,
Mhm.
because like I said, the finances. So now, since they've been in to inspect, they want us to look at a structural engineer.
Okay. I would think that a design professional is probably a good first step for you to take. And again, I haven't been in the building, but structural engineer is probably a good,
Stabilized.
Yeah.
When it comes to the rehab tax credit programs, are some things like that, covered by, those incentives?
Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
That's a really good one. I mean, can't imagine it wouldn't be
Mhm.
stabilizing the structure from falling, preventing it from falling down. I would imagine it would be, but we can do that for sure.
In addition to, identifying one of those engineers, it may be worthwhile to identify a preservationist who could clarify that, for example, what sort of non-hard work towards rehabilitating the building will be captured by those financial incentives. But then also somebody who can help lay out, the actionable tasks and the sequence of them to really, resolve the envelope and then give you that pathway forward will also be.
Phase the work so that we're not having to do it all at once. Which, certainly
Yeah.
would ease financial burdens tremendously.
Yes.
I would imagine if there's any roof work that needs doing would probably be, other than internal structural work, would probably be first on the docket.
Well, they did have, my brother did have, put a new roof on there.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Wow, okay,
And-
that's a huge savings.
Everything there is pretty good. Prices are pretty good.
That's a huge help.
Probably a showing report, everything in there on this roof is new, actually.
Fantastic, okay, that's a really big first one.
Yes. I just have to do a few
Structure
things,
itself is very.
which is a holdup, right now with this meeting. Cause I have green roofing, green collar roofing was going to do another section that needed, and a couple of things that need to be adjusted.
Sure.
So we just have to wait, for this meeting to get the okay, so we can move forward with that. So I've been trying,
Yeah.
doing certain things. I even looked in, unfortunately, that beautiful porch was rotting off.
There's some waiting.
God, so, and I'm, being fined for that. So I had looked into a couple of estimates, which a lot of money just for that porch to be.
Just to
put
rebuild.
back. Yes, because it's round, it wasn't
Yeah.
square,
It's
it's
a very
round.
nice picture. Yeah.
Let me ask you, I think you said you had a sentimental attachment. Tell us about that.
Okay, my mother and father, when they got married, this is the first place that they purchased. So when I was born and my siblings were born, this is where we came home to, in this house. It was beautiful. It had, I remember the French doors been in. It was just beautiful, even upstairs. Beautiful stairwell, wooden stair. It was beautiful that I remember,
So then what happened? Your parents,
My father died at the age of 32, 33. My mother kept it, but then we moved to where we reside now in Amsterdam, by the Armory. But she kept it, and she had a couple other places as well. Because I was here a while ago for 43 Gill, 43, 45. Okay, but there was a sibling that she allowed to take care of the place.
and how long has it been since someone actually lived in it?
We were discussing that.
It's been a while.
Oh, wow.
It's been a while. I want to say, as a guess, it could have been in the early 80s or mid 80s.
It's been like 30 years. I was
Wow. That is a long time.
when my grandmother was renting it, so it's been about 30 years. I'm 37, so.
It was beautiful. Upstairs and downstairs, huge rooms, high ceilings. But the other sibling thought he was going to do something different with it. And he didn't consult anybody else.
Mm.
And he didn't consult my mother at the time. Now, my mother is 92. I'm taking care of her. Have a little bit of Alzheimer's and dementia. And I really would like to.
So are you then, is that your plan right now to engage a structural engineer? Is that where you think you're headed?
That's really.
Okay. I think, as Ethan mentioned too, I think at the same time, you want to also look at like a historic preservation professional, an architect, or that can, and maybe they can work hand in hand. And there are some, I would shop around a little bit. There are a lot of architects that are in our area that have historic preservation as a specialty. Then there are some really good structural engineers in the area, and a lot of them team up together on a routine basis. So I would shop around a little.
Yeah, I think,
Can y'all give us some referrals, or we just have to look?
well,
We can't really recommend, but if you find somebody, you can say, hey, I'm talking to this guy. What is your experience with him? or her, and we can let you know that.
Can we connect them with the Preservation League? Because they typically
Absolutely.
have a
Yeah.
great Rolodex.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
can,
So there's two things. I just wanted to say that I think it's really critical to get in touch with the preservationists right away because it may be that certain things are eligible expenses for those tax incentive programs. And you may want to have that lined up, from the get-go so that they're covered. Otherwise, if you do it beforehand, it may not be covered in the back half of the process. But there's a nonprofit in New York State, the Preservation League of New York State, and they have a pretty robust Rolodex of professionals who do this type of work daily. And so we can connect you with them, and I'm sure they'd be, delighted to give you guidance on that.
Please, we appreciate it. Whatever help we can get. Thank you.
so Ethan can email you the contact for that. Yeah. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
And again, like I mentioned in some of the emails, this is, the intentionality is for it to be a commercial property, an income producer, for renting, is that right? Or?
Yes. Yes. That many ideas discussed. That's our plan, That's our plan. Even if like it's, because it's gonna be a two-family dwelling like it was, then I might think about wanting to go back in it for one.
Sure. So the reason I asked that is there's homeowner tax credit programs from SHPO, and then there's commercial tax credits. And with the commercial tax credit, it can range on 20% on the federal level and 20 to 30% on the state level. But also this property would potentially be eligible for a local tax abatement that's graduated over the course of 10 years. So any improvements that would result in an increase on the assessed value, that would be abated over the first 5 years completely and then gradually increase over the subsequent 5 years at a rate of 20%.
So the increased value is what you get your tax abatement on. So it's a couple of paths, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I was also exploring the possibility that the house may be older than 1885.
Really?
Yeah. I'm looking at the 1887 Sanborns, and the footprint looks a little similar to the 1853 and 1870 maps. That would make it Major von Beck's house. Well, if we can, that theory turns out to be fact, you have the Major von Beck house. Do you know who he was?
I don't.
Oh, he was the most colorful person in Rondell. Quite a character.
There you go.
We can go on all night about Major von Beck. But,
The mansion house.
Kevin writes you a
With the bonuses. The mansion house, that was his.
Where Savonis is at the corner of the Strand and Lower Broadway.
Yeah.
and he was the paymaster for the Delaware, the D&H Canal. And,
That would make sense because the paymaster's house was right
There.
there.
Yeah.
Right, at the top of the company.
Right.
I also
Okay.
And you said there's a seam with the brick?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that would.
Well, it may have been just a townhouse with a flat roof originally.
Right here.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you can see the sort of asymmetry to it.
So the porch would have been added on
So
later
like,
to be a late Victorian feature.
So they must have ripped the roof off at one point and then rebuilt.
Yeah, around 2013, at least our records showed that someone had come before us, or this commission at the time for the roof. And what was this, did change to this now.
Whoops.
Well, they've been in very poor condition at that time.
He didn't do anything.
All right. Okay. So tonight's, the application for tonight was meant to just be discussion to determine.
Just to
where
talk
go
about
from
what
here.
our plan was, and I think they're starting to get that together. And really, I think what you want to do is just give them, set a couple, set a time frame and just have them come back and again, sit and discuss. Maybe at that point, they might have something, a developed plan of action, on how you're gonna tackle a restoration project here.
Something like this, I think, would actually warrant maybe like a 6-month, give or take time frame to.
It's estimate.
Yeah.
Talk obviously with historic preservationists of some sort, figure out the tax credit plan for yourselves that we can reap the benefits of that, and certainly a structural engineer.
Right. And if you get something done sooner, then, then that certainly let us know and we'll get you on the agenda. And if you've got some actual plans to start some of the, stabilization work or whatever's needed, we can get you, get you on an agenda and at least get that signed off on so you can move forward with that. It would only be the commission would only be looking at exterior things. So if you're talking about interior stabilization, efforts, then that really is just through the building department.
Okay.
And, we'll keep talking and communicating, so we're working together.
Yes, ma'am.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
House all the time.
And the little.
I wonder, I will always wonder why there's just this big one. Now I know there's a bunch there.
I couldn't
I
figure
mean,
out.
is that,
I remember as a
is that
kid.
single piece?
I think
Yeah.
that may be part of the why they didn't define.
What was the plan to just
It's just to redo that little
just to shingle it?
reshingle, yeah.
Okay, I would say. Okay, if that's, if it's not, I mean, my thing is I don't want to put money into something that ultimately.
That could be all. Well, we should talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Phyllis.
Yes,
So one of the things that came before this meeting was an application to do the roof on that little bay that juts out to where the porch was. And that may be able to be reviewed at desk level, but the concern is that if the porch is to be reconstructed, some of that work and your investment in recovering the roof may have to be undone. And so we want to discuss with you how comfortable you are with that.
Removing it.
Well, no, the roof would have to be replaced shortly because it's covered in a tar. So you need to address it. But if because that is beneath where the porch was, that new roof that's being proposed would have to possibly be redone in the future when the full porch is done.
I mean, rather than shingle it, could they tarp it? Use a.
Could put EPDM on it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
Which
challenging.
is a,
Well, just EPDM in general. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
temporary.
which is a much
Yeah.
less
Well,
expensive.
there's less steps involved.
Huh?
There's less steps involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
big rubber.
just and consider it like almost a temporary kind of,
Yes,
but it would take away the violation.
right.
Uh,
It would weather
the
tight
tar.
it. Right, exactly. So, yeah, I think something like that would make sense.
so you're saying for me, I can go ahead and do what I need to do right now?
Do the least expensive, most effective solution you can think of, which in my mind might be like a rubber roof. Just it's a large sheet of rubber effectively. It's called EPDM that you just put over top.
Just for that little piece?
Yes,
Right, yeah. I would invest in that.
It is because it might not, when you get your plans done and to really restore the house in to its full glory, you're gonna probably be removing that and replacing that. Yeah, that little blue.
Yeah, so don't
Yeah.
waste money. Just put a chunk of rubber EPDM on top and call it.
More ice and water sugar.
Yeah, we're gonna remove it anyway, because it's a.
Yeah, so you don't want to spend the money to,
Yeah,
So
they want to spend a lot of money.
You guys.
but we want to make sure that the feet on it,
Looks like from
or
the.
at least that one.
Because I don't remember that piece being there as a kid.
What?
Because we just over one spot. Yeah,
It is part of the original house.
Is it?
Well, it's, if you look in here,
You
you
think that's.
Oh, it's a window. It's a bay window.
Oh, it's that. Okay, it's right, yeah.
Yeah. Questionable, the structure is likely.
Yeah, yeah.
No, not.
Yeah, it was.
Stay the course with.
Oh,
put a front
okay.
yard on it.
That way you can see the house.
But that's sticking out.
Moving on. Get it covered.
So that will be addressed in a desk review from our office
Right.
tomorrow. Because I believe it's Green Collar that you've contracted with.
Green Collar.
Yeah, so I have this contact information and I can. I'll-
Okay, you good. Okay, thank you.
All right, so what is the commission's thoughts on giving them some time to come back? What do you,
Yes.
you have time, we need to do a time period?
6 months.
Do you want to do 6 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's May
That's
20th.
a pretty reasonable time.
How convenient.
That's only 6 months, is that point, a reasonable time? Yes.
We're cheering for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a quick one.
This is so cool.
Okay, so this would be a type 2 action under seeker.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to declare this type 2 action under seeker.
So,
So you do second, so Robert second, all those in favor, Eric, Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well.
Okay, so you want to, we just have a motion that the HLPC shall share information on resources that may assist the property owner with rehabilitating the structure and request that a more comprehensive rehabilitation plan be developed in the next 6 months and presented to the commission for further review no later than May 26, 2026.
I make a motion.
All right.
Okay, who's the second?
Second.
Nettie. All those in favor, Eric,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie, Robert, aye as well. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
Eric,
And I'll keep looking into going back into.
Okay, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
You too.
Okay.
Okay, number 5, 161 Fair Street, former First Church of Christ Finance.
Hi.
Hello.
Won't you give me any credits for this? I've learned so much.
Okay, if you'd be so kind as to state your names for the record and then tell us a little bit about why you're here.
Yes. Hi, my name is Sonia Wright,
and you're right.
and we are coming to represent the owners of 161 Fair Street, also known as the First Church of Christ Science. And that recently got into a pretty devastating fire. And that is why it was deemed a total loss. And we are here to ask for your blessing to demo the property, and then we're proposing a single family house
On the existing foundation.
on the existing foundation. Yes. So, brief history of the building. It was built in the early 1900s. Nobody wanted it apparently. And, but the design at the time, you know, everybody wanted, when they thought of a church, it was a Gothic style. And this group wanted it more of a colonial, more, to bring more light into the building. So that's why they deviated from what the style was at the time. And they decided to build it this way. Now, moving forward into 2024, our clients who live in California bought the property, still registered as a church, oddly, even if it was a residence, but that's how the deed was and that's how the mortgage was.
And they wanted to renovate and do another mezzanine. There was already a mezzanine existing. They wanted to add a bathroom upstairs, add another partition so that they could segment it into a bedroom with its
The
own
master
closet.
was sitting on the altar.
Yes.
That's
It was, wow. Yeah.
It previously renovated from the church, coming about 4 or 5 years prior to that.
Right.
We had a lot of issues of calling someone, tons of issues.
Right.
And they made it into a residence by putting, but it was still the church.
It was a mix of, it was an open space.
Right.
Some bed in the center of.
Recreated.
Yes. So we started renovating, it was only interior renovation and we were really closer to being done. Everything was getting
It
finished.
was in a motor.
Yeah, yeah. And then they had a meeting. At that point, Andrew and the client were working more closely. I was on other projects, but they were very close to finished and even picking colors and putting samples. And then that night,
We met on Friday, Saturday morning at 2 a.m.
yeah.
They don't.
It was actually, we had a lot of investigators look at it, and we think that the previous, in my personally, previous renovation did not fully undo the original panel. Some electricity was still in there because we had shut down all the electric. We only had 3 outlets working. And then something sparked, went, and it went. You see on the right, that balustrade next to the column, that's a chimney, and the panel that went bad is right at the bottom of it, the basement, went up like a flame, and just got caught in the attic and just took it out. In no time at all. From 2 feet down from the roof, nothing was burned. The entire structure was good. But the insurance company totaled it and
Yeah.
taken it down, so.
And now it's because of the weather, it's been, actually, like, you couldn't even.
The insurance company dragged their feet for months and months and just made sure the basement's all mold down.
Yes.
Are there any salvageable
features.
components that,
We went through it, but I would have to, we actually did a study on whether we could try to rebuild it. And, but it would be, because all the top is gone, the roof is gone. We had to rip down the structure and pretty much change the entire thing.
okay,
Yeah.
So it was a,
Now,
we did work with the insurance company on it. They were like, "Well, done."
yeah.
Then, of course, like all insurance companies, tried to find someone to blame, but everyone was on a good note. The way it was bought by our clients, this was going to happen at some point. The fact that it happened when no one was in it, in my opinion, so it was a godsend that no one got hurt because there was some dereliction previous people. Well, but hey, now it's a mess.
So the ionic columns at the front and the yes, pediments,
Yeah. So we're working with a contractor who's gonna try to,
at least somewhat
salvage
salvage
it
it.
and then maybe,
There's a beautiful fir floor.
yeah.
Even with all the rain, still is flat and not buckled.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's first cut fir. I mean, so we were actually trying to see if we can salvage that. The columns, no one's interested in. We did ask around. I know.
Mind-boggling.
I mean, there was you gotta remember, it's they didn't. This is all the detail. The Christian Sciences were very, very frugal.
Sure.
So the rest of it's just a box.
Yeah.
so like all the front stonework and all of that, like that entry,
It's all concrete block.
it's just concrete. It's
Yeah,
not,
we're gonna keep actually, the side is a stone faced block 10-inch wide.
okay,
We're gonna keep all that going down the sides and, if you can't really see it well. we're gonna
Okay.
Keep that. The 2 buttons on the front were added later, and then the stairs are actually gonna be underneath the front porch. We'll keep it all, but
so that's gonna be retained and then.
yeah, everything from the bottom of the wood down.
Okay.
Kept. Like there's a partial basement, we're gonna keep that just as it is. And,
The front stoop, it's a concrete slab, but it's not right on top of the basement.
yeah, from the front doors, that's 4 feet into the building, so out to the front of those buttresses and columns, that's actually the basement, so we're gonna keep all that. And for structural reasons, I'm gonna keep those steps, because they're all poured at once. Can't chip it away, and we'll just put something on top of it.
So the new front face of the building, will that be in approximately the same place where the doors are now? Is that? Or-
Exactly where the columns are, that's where the.
It's gonna, okay, so your front will come out.
We're not changing any of the actual building.
Okay,
So where the pillars are, that's basically our front
Yeah.
facade.
Does the build, well, not that we really look at the back, but does you said you're reusing the whole foundation essentially. Is there any addition out to the backside?
No, actually, we're taking off an additional deal.
Oh.
Did a bathroom back there in the previous people on top of a huge concrete block. I think it was a stoop that went out and down off the back of the altar. So that was the only bathroom the building had. We're taking that off and gonna keep the old front of the shell and put a deck on top of that. And so, because there's really no backyard, this was one of these weird lots where the back of it belongs to Leslie to the left. She has this enormous backyard. She tried to sell us her building. She thinks she could get like 6-8 years of that. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think, but anyway. See,
I mean, the tops of those windows are very pretty. I mean, I don't know if they're salvageable.
They were, well, some of them, they were in bad shape when they bought it. There's a lot of rot and stuff.
There is. Yeah, they
We
don't
were
look it.
considering a package with the owners about fixing some, because they were starting to, more on the north side.
Uh-huh.
The flashing had come off, because they flared out the siding, and the siding was
Yeah.
so, but when they put in the new windows,
Actually
they
look
didn't bother
different
doing
on
anything.
this side. Are they the same on both sides?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So
The other side, and maybe it's just the way the picture was. They looked.
Maybe the perspective.
They looked more ornate.
A sawtooth thing.
oh, no, it's a pretty simple box, and what they did.
Yeah, it's just a picture. Yeah.
But the
It's-
silver
it does look like
pretty much.
sawtooth. Yeah.
Something.
Better turn.
To put replacement windows in.
I'm just trying to think if there's any features that are currently on the physical building that might be, brought into the new design, just to try and tie it a little bit, to what the history of the site was.
So the flare of the siding, we have shingles on the proposed. And we're gonna flare it out, similar detail to that. When it transitions
Yeah.
from the shingles, I think if you go down,
Plus,
the
we took
proposed.
more of a trying to have homes on here.
To see how that flares out. So we're trying to replicate that detail from the shingle to the wood siding.
Was actually very sweet. It is. We actually thought of, it's, when I first moved to Kingston, I was driving down Paradise, seeing house. What's that? I said, what? And so the attempt here was to try and put back the original context of Fair Streets. There's some beautiful homes from a different style. So we worked closely with the client to give them something they also had dreamed about.
And if you see the columns closer, the detail of that column is a Gothic revival, just to give it a little flair of what could have been, but it's not. So we're trying to tie it, with very simple elements of a little history of what was there and trying to give it a story, without, we cannot replicate the church, but, just the flair of the shingles and having a column that.
Does that porch have a box gutter?
It's,
Okay, just
it
see-
has gutters, it's a K gutters.
I see.
We have to,
Yeah.
really control the water.
Waters, yeah.
Okay. Does the commission have any other questions for the applicant? So I think we're looking at this as technically two separate sort of applications. One is for demo, and the other one is for post.
Correct. Constructions, right, demo would be one, and then
So we'll look at the demo portion of the application first. So first, we have to declare this a type 2 action under seeker. Do I hear a motion? Motion Kevin, and second is Eric. Okay, all in favor, Eric? Aye, Kevin.
Aye.
Betty?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea, aye. Okay. Findings of fact, we have several. I motion that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed demolition of a fire damaged building at 161 Fair Street, former Church of Christ Scientists in the Fair Street Local Landmark District 1988, if done according to the plan reviewed, the discussions had, and the procedures stipulated in section 40526L of Kingston zoning code is compatible with the historic character of the landmark district for the following reasons. That pursuant to section 40526L11 and 40526L13A, the commission determined the application and its supporting materials are complete for formal review, and that the proposed work requires a certificate of appropriateness. The proposed work is to take place at two-story Greek Revival religious structure turned dwelling unit on the west side of Fair Street, 4 parcels south of the intersection of Fair and St. James Streets, that was built by George W. Anderson circa 1914 for the First Church of Christ Scientists. The church and Anderson chose the Greek Revival style to purposefully differentiate from Victorian churches that favored Gothic styles, which were deemed too gloomy and shrouded in mystery and superstition. From Rhodes and Bleecker 2003, pages 72 and 73. The owners purchased the property in 2023 and were renovating the interior between 24 and 25 when on June 14th, 2025, a fire engulfed the building and resulted in a total loss. That the HLPC reviewed the photographic evidence of the fire and recognizes that the structure is beyond repair and that demolition is deemed the only feasible option. The HLPC requests that the applicant owners create a photographic record of the structure before and after the fire that must be delivered to the HLPC by December 20th, 2025 for record keeping. The HLPC requests that any historical character defining features not damaged by fire, such as windows, trim, columns, doors, etc., be salvaged and possibly be incorporated into the new structure, or if this is not possible, be saved or transferred to an architectural salvage company for future reuse. Any new construction on the site must be compatible with the historic district setbacks, architectural theme, and the character of the Fair Street Landmark District 1988. Any future changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application are subject to further review by our commission prior to work start. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on the 6th day of November, the commission grant a certificate of appropriateness to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission. Such notice is subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion and is valid for 1 year from this date. Do I hear a second? Second. Ned, second. All those in favor? Eric.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Ned.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
And I also vote aye. And that is the demo portion. So with regards to the focus, obviously we don't necessarily have plans and all of that yet. So do we want to table this portion of the application for the time being until such time as we can?
are you working on like a site plan and
We submitted with a drawing. It's a 2-page, 24 by 36. It's just a site plan, and it just has
I saw that, I thought that was the church.
Well,
Right, it
that's
was-
the old one. We got a new survey done.
No, this is
Right,
right,
and then
this is the new.
look at the other, there's another document.
You haven't submitted the new.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't submit the
Oh,
actual
okay, oh,
survey,
okay,
but
Right.
this
No.
is the survey that was recently done.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, and there is a survey there.
And you.
Yeah, so that's still the same, that's what I was thinking.
Right, so we're not changing. And please refresh me, you want plans of the new structure?
Yeah, I,
This is gonna be under the deck.
Right,
okay,
This is gonna be under the front porch. So from this corner, that is what we are building up.
right.
Because this has a huge concrete block back there, there's nothing here. So-
Right.
And then the compressor's been dead forever, and that one, who knows?
so you're not proposing like a curb cut for
No.
a driveway?
No, she has, she said, "Can I have a parking space?" I said, no. But what we're gonna do is this is gonna be more like a central walkway with bluestone to a
Right.
porch, a walkway. We are cutting over here a little areaway because we wanna make the cellar, have egress.
Right,
There's room down there, so because, we have, this is all grass right now. We'll come out about 3 feet and have a door coming out for egress.
Eventually, Chris.
so if you go back to
Do you have our plans anywhere?
yeah, well, I didn't submit them, but I have them. I don't know if it's official, if I pull them right now, but if you go to the package with the renderings, because that is in essence, and we will obviously submit the plans, but that is in essence the design that we're proposing. And the rectangular structure is sitting on the existing foundation. And
There's an existing sidewalk on this side we're trying to keep.
Right, right, where
This is all grass, but we're gonna cut, you can barely see it over there, because her son wants to, be in the cellar. That's his room. So, but the only way I would do it is to give him a lead.
so, but yeah, so there is that tree. We didn't put that tree there. You would have seen the entrance to the basement.
Yeah, it's gonna
Would it
be,
be, I'm sorry to interrupt. Would it be deemed appropriate to submit right now any drawings or not?
that's the only site plan difference.
Yeah.
Just that egress.
And it's up to the commission. One of the things we had talked about was, obviously, we spoke about it a little earlier too, was if there's any way to incorporate, any of the features of, what it was, to try and give a little bit of a sense of the history of the site. And, I know you said there is a little Gothic. It doesn't read that way to me. I mean, I'm not getting like a connection to what was there. And I guess that's what I'm struggling with. I don't know how much of that similar type of construction we want to see.
I might add that you like you mentioned the shingles, for example, which I
Yeah,
see, but the structure that was there, which you're not replicating, was more Greek revival. And so one of the things that was thought was, maybe a few more Greek revival elements as opposed to Gothic.
Yeah, I thought that initially, then I realized it's not the first building on the site.
right.
I looked at the map and after, I believe there might have been a print shop or something there back in the day.
Wait, when did they lose the backyard?
Yeah. well, So that might enter into that discussion or
Okay.
not, that's,
Not sure if that would, given that
No.
we don't have any
no, we don't know, no, it's just a map.
of what was there.
I think it was a print shop, but it's a,
Really dealing with the Greek revival church.
yeah.
Only thought is this blends in really well with the existing houses in that part of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And to try to introduce some of those Greek, whatever we call them, Greek revival elements from the church.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the columns.
I
That goes right on the front.
mean, I like the window that was in the gable part of the, what do you call it, lunette. That was beautiful, but that wouldn't fit the style.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it'd be tough to try to squeeze something in from the design of the church.
Yeah, so that's another part we also struggle with because, there is like a really distinct aspect of these
Yeah.
buildings that those are the tall columns.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of buildings like that in the area, but
Well, the
to try to.
gastroenterologist on Drayton, right on the corner. If you were to go right down this corner and
Yeah.
turn on St. James, there is one house right there. And
Yeah, that's why I was asking if those like window caps were, reusable to possibly put over some of the, you know what I mean?
they are
This
not
one-
built as well as we looked at them. and,
Yeah.
You could do that, but we were struggling because if you go further south, there's all these houses that have been renovated and brought up and really. I mean, when I first used to go down Fair Street 20 plus years ago, there was one mess after another. Now it's a beautiful
Yeah.
drive. I drive that way home even though it's longer.
Yes, yes. One thing that actually might be challenging too about maintaining the caps over the windows is the proportion of the window that you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have, it might not be something where you just take from the old structure and put on.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
And as Eric mentioned it, as you walk on the street, and I mean, I can stand biased, but I have a house that has a porch like that, and it feels very much in tune with what's in the surrounding area, and that is, and now it reads as a single family home.
Yeah.
Versus, a church never wanted, nobody wanted it. and
We
then
can
it turned
keep the
into a
free
house.
books, little kiosks hanging out. And the library, I think, sponsors.
Oh,
Is that
I didn't know that.
Number for the transit, is that what I'm seeing on the front door?
yes, yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, so that's.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the natural siding that you show? The exposure on it seems like it's like this big.
It's a 3-inch
It's a 4-inch
exposure.
phase exposure.
Wow, right?
Yeah, it's a 1
And
by
it's closer to what was there
Yeah, I love that.
versus the
eyebrow.
usual 6-inch.
I love that.
You didn't want to start replicating the vinyl or tin siding.
No.
And in the round arch window at the front, it was.
It's that,
It
yeah.
was more so because you had an arch window in the old building.
Yeah.
So
It's a unique window at the end of the breezeway. On the top stair, it's an open big stair. And so when you get on the landing, you have that at the end. So it's,
So inevitably, it's going to be completely different than what it was before. And honestly, that's what we intended to do with it. After going back and forth and with the client and analyzing, first we thought maybe we could salvage the structure, but then it wasn't possible.
I was just gonna look at the Google Street View to look like up and down the street.
Mhm.
sure.
So you're saying go,
Go that,
Well,
No,
it was
the other
more
way.
so
go the other way,
The other
about 2
way.
houses.
Right.
It's the Victorian, right to the left, right there.
okay.
That's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
Going up and down where people enjoy the front porches.
Yeah.
If you go further.
You see,
down,
it has like
it all
the eyebrow
goes
up on the top too,
Right.
like this house, the way it's designed.
Even if you go the other direction,
Huh?
you'll see where all the multifamilies turned into single.
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
They did absolutely stunning.
Well,
job.
even the design of this one has what we're looking at tonight, there's almost some elements of like craftsman
Yeah.
styling.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of different architectural.
Yeah.
styles at play here.
With Victorians across the
Is
street.
the wood siding you're proposing, is that meant to be like a thermary, or is it real wood, or you think is it something else?
They'll probably use thermally modified to make
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
it stays because the client really wants real wood. She wants that wood look. She was very.
There is a real mix, isn't there?
Yeah.
Collect that blue.
Well,
You start really looking,
There's a house across the street that
It's
is.
quite, yeah.
And the earliest houses sit right on the sidewalk and the later
Right.
houses sit back.
By the back,
And
right.
she, beautiful stuff. We just finished one there on East Court, and this client is from New York, LA, but she loved Fair Street. She walked up and down. She gave us very strict, can you do this color? Can you do that? Because we started with some different colors. She said, no, I like this because I see it down here. I like this. And so we were like, let's do it.
And that blue is from a historic collection from Benjamin Moore. The blue. And it's basically the historic blue and.
You heard it right there.
natural color.
It's right on that. Right.
Yeah. See it.
Yeah, we started with the white church and no. Gotta always listen to the client. But there's an enormous variety of styles up and down Fair and Wall Street, which just earlier tonight, you guys were working on the Wall Street Stone House, which that's the one right where.
Yeah, that intersection.
Yeah.
Right.
Where they did the little parquet.
Yes.
I know that I saw them putting it up and I stopped. I said, what are you doing? Oh, it's a city experiment. I said,
They actually have like Saturday night family nights there. It's
is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I hate to see a big chunk of.
Yeah, they had.
It would be nice to have a fun
events.
thing.
Yeah. I think they close it up. I do think they put.
Yeah, they have string quartets there. On the weekends.
Well,
It's
that is so cute. 'Cause I
quite
only during the weekend, not, I stay out of uptown on the weekends. It's too busy.
Too many people though.
But I'm glad that's used. Yeah, that's my,
So what are some of the commissioners' thoughts on design, materials, setback? I mean, I like the fact that they're using the existing foundation.
Yeah,
I like that.
that it's usable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Maybe that's what we should do is just go with the demolition because you never know what you're gonna find or it might have to change and have to come back. Right? That basement is not salvageable.
Myself.
Kevin?
Yeah, no, I'm fine with this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say I like it better than. I mean, you know, I never wish a building gone.
Yeah.
If one had to go.
It was eccentric.
Hopefully this is the last on Fair Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were worried at one point if
Yeah.
there was more than just, inevitable casualties out of nowhere.
I know, it was kind of crazy this last year. We actually kind of was hoping that this would just blend in with the rest versus jump out like
Yeah.
its previous life.
Yeah.
I literally almost crashed the car the first time I saw it. What's that?
Okay. And we will look at calling this a type 2 action under seeker. Do I hear a second? I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second, Eric. Okay, all in favor, Eric?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Letty?
I,
Robert?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. Motion on the table is that I motion that commissioners find as fact that the proposed new dwelling construction project at 161 Fair Street in the Fair Street Local Landmark District 1988, if done according to the plans reviewed, the discussions had, and the procedure stipulated in section 40526L of Kingston zoning code, is compatible with the historic character of the landmark district for the following reasons. That pursuant to sections 40526L11 and 40526L13 at 13A, the commission determined the application and its supporting materials are complete for formal review and that the proposed work requires a certificate of appropriateness. The proposed work is to take place on the west side of Fair Street, 4 parcels south of the intersection of Fair and St. James Streets, where circa 1940. Do I need to read all this over again? Is it different or still the same?
No, that's the same.
Okay. The owner proposes a classical Victorian style 2.5-story single family dwelling with a street facing gable as submitted in their application dated October 21, 2025. Proposal should consider incorporating more Greek revival, like 1830 to 1840 features reflect. Should consider.
No, so do you want to take that
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's coming out.
Okay, moving to start. Do I need to write that down or you're gonna take care of that? Okay. The proposed structure shall be clad in both real wood clapboard siding and wooden shake siding, and that the body will be stained in mahogany ES60 color. See submitted rendering, and the third story body, trim, railings, handrails, stair risers, and lattice, front porch, rear deck, and front door will be painted in Ben Moore Newburyport Blue HC 155 from the Historic Colors Collection. The structure must have 6'6" double hung wood windows on the front elevation painted in stone white on the exterior, and may have Marvin Elevate wood casement windows as rendered, with white interiors and stone white exterior color on the sides and rear. The proposed round-topped second-story street-facing window is considered. Do you want to take that out?
Okay, yes.
Okay. The roof may be clad in certain Teague landmark asphalt shingles in cobblestone gray. The applicant may install aluminum gutters.
Yeah. We were just, they're not box gutters on the porch, right? They're just all.
Yeah. There's no storm drain down Ferris. I don't know. The other buildings, we have a couple on Ferris Street, they make us take the sewer and we join it and they go into the same.
Yeah, we're supposed to remove all of this.
Yeah, you can't.
We can't technically.
Well, Ellen does that because I do want to have a water control on it. I think Cole would deal with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your gutters are gonna have to go to some of your landscaped areas.
For a dry well, that's why I did.
You know what, it is
Well,
wealthy, it's very,
Yeah.
very porous. I mean, it's like there's never a hole in the water,
Yeah.
so I bet you we could probably put a small dry well in the backyard or something.
Yeah.
We have a lot.
Sure. I like that you kept the railings low and added the bar above for the portrait.
Yeah,
That's
I like
great.
that. I do like that.
No, it's sort of like, look, this is my genius.
May I correct something?
I just show up
I
with
know.
a whole something.
The windows are going to be bronze, not the stone white. I just did never corrected it on the document.
Okay,
They're actually shown as bronze to blend with the wood and to be more, give it more of an accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, apologies,
no, that's fine.
Fine cherries.
They're painted in bronze.
they're clad, so they are, just want to make sure
Yeah,
that.
factory finish.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you.
Okay,
No problem.
make a note of that.
I'll accept that amendment, that the 6'6" double hung, clad windows on the front elevation with factory finished bronze on the exterior.
This.
It's actually one, what, 6/1, right?
6/1. I'm sorry, we're messing.
6 over.
Must
We
have
just got the
6/1
bid for those, all those.
double
They charge a
hung.
lot now. Yeah.
These are aluminum clad?
They are
Marvin's
clad, they're
aluminum
Marvin
clad.
clad elements, yes, the wood
Yes.
interior.
So one additional amendment to that then would be the structure must have 6/1 double hung clad windows on the front elevation with factory finished bronze. And we will move on to the
side windows are gonna be bronze too, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
so all windows.
yeah, so. I'm gonna
How specific we have to get, but there's a 4/4, yeah.
That's
Okay.
arch top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the round top, okay. I'll go back down to the aluminum K-style gutters. The applicant may install aluminum K-style gutters in bronze color with matching downspouts, and that the owner will be held responsible to ensure that all stormwater is directed and handled on site with no drainage directed to a public space or system. Applicants may install Artur lights, Amsterdam vintage white milk glass geometric jar pendant light. Do I have that correct?
It's, yeah, they're on the document, you go down, it's, they are very pretty. And they're just, yeah.
Tour lights.
We'll give you a-
Fancy.
They're gonna
Milk
be on the
glass.
front porch.
They're on the front porch. They're
Maybe
pretty.
put some chains on them.
Geometric jar pendant lights, dimensions diameter 9.06 inches, height 10.63 inches, and a Hinkley 44-inch chisel mat.
They wanted
I don't know, MKE black damp rated smart fan for the front porch. The existing bluestone pathway to the former church building shall be preserved and reused for the purposes of developing and accessing the new dwelling. Is that consistent with our?
Yeah, basically, you can see it in the.
So right now we modify, but if you wish we right now it's a U shape. If you go to the
Yeah,
plan,
concrete board U shape.
yeah, so that one is existing.
So the bluestone, are you reusing that bluestone on site?
Yeah.
Are they, listen?
Are these a concrete or is it?
Bluestone sidewalk. Sidewalk.
The sidewalks,
The bluestone sidewalk,
We're gonna
definitely.
do that.
That could be concrete. Actually,
Walk my dog.
That's all for, because I remember, when we were, bringing containers onto the stuff, I was worried that they were hurt, but it was concrete.
It was concrete.
Can't hurt concrete.
Okay, so we'll take out the existing bluestone pathway to the former
Right,
church
the
building.
bluestone is actually the sidewalk, which
Yeah.
is not one that has.
Okay.
okay.
Any future changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application are subject to further review by our commission prior to work's start. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on the 6th November 2025, the commission grant a certificate of appropriateness to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and its application to the commission. Such notice is subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion and is valid for 1 year from this date. Do I have a second? Second, Robert. All those in favor? Eric?
Well, since there's nothing pestiferous about the new design.
Very good. All right. Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Well done, and
Okay.
look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Haven't seen it a lot, have you guys already? I always came over to look at the house next door, which that's Jason? Okay, no, Jason, yeah, Jason. And they looked at that and they said, no, he thought of it, like, oh, man, it seems like he took everything and everything. Yeah, this is important you mentioned, but because we're gonna probably win. But you know, I bought it a year ago. And we have this already because family members showing up. Can I ask you in the housing crisis?
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
There's the money. Oh, sir.
All right, item number 6, number 25, Frog Alley, designating the City of Kingston Planning Board as the lead agency.
Come on.
I was gonna say, this is very straightforward. So, okay, we'll do type, I will make a motion to make this a type 2 action under seeker. Who might want second? Second. All those in favor, have a good night. All those in favor?
Aye.
Eric, aye. Everybody, aye. Andrea's, aye. Okay, number 7.
Wait, so you need to just put in a motion to
Proof as, hold on, go back, sorry.
assenting to the
Yes,
planning board.
Yes, I'd like to approve the City of Kingston Planning Board's lead agency request for a coordinated seeker review for 25 Frog Alley Development Project. Authorize me as acting chair to sign the consent form. I move, and who seconds? Second, Kevin, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it.
Very efficient.
Very efficient.
And you
Yes, ma'am.
sign that, you got that back to me, and I sign that.
Thank you, welcome. Okay, moving right along. Number 7. Number 21, Elizabeth Street, designating of City of Kingston Planning Board as the agency also for this one. Any discussion or anything? I will make a motion to list this as a type 2 action under seeker. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Nettie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it for that, and I would like to make a motion to approve the City of Kingston, New York Planning Board's lead agency request for coordinated seeker review for the 21 Elizabeth Street Development Project, and authorize myself as acting chair to sign the consent form. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Kevin, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the ayes have it on that as well.
Andrea?
Yes, ma'am. And I believe this is finally number 8. Information letter to Ulster Green, Columbia Duchess and Orange Realtor Boards and Association. This is a pretty important one for us. So that way, any applicant or any person who looks to purchase a building within a historic district is so informed.
Yeah.
So that way, hopefully informed, or hopefully will remember, or recall that, yes.
No, I'm just agreeing.
Yes, yeah. Great. So that way they are hopefully not caught off guard when they need to come before our commission, and it will be good for everyone in the long run. So any discussion or questions or anything? Yes.
So the long version just has the page with the links.
Right.
And
Some addition.
the first page is the same.
Yeah, more or less. There's some minor changes to it.
So the reason there's 2 versions, what we did was we had drafted it, and then we, as was talked about last month, we sent it out to a couple, and here, let's see here, returned comment. He brought it back. Hayes Clement was another person we gave it to, but we didn't get comment back. So Harris's one comment really was because it's lengthy. He felt that most of the realtors would probably look at it and go, oh, I'm reading this whole thing, and there it goes. So we thought a shorter version might be a more appropriate, like, first approach. I think both versions are worthy. I would say maybe for an initial blast, put out the shorter version.
Certainly.
And then, maybe in a few months, we just do the same blast with the longer version and just kind of put it back out there again. It doesn't hurt, to send it out a couple times, but.
Another group we might want to share this with would be the real estate attorneys that are required for closing. And I don't know if they consider that their practice or if that's a side job, but because every buyer has to have an attorney when they buy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah, but also alert the client, are you aware?
I don't know if there's a segment of the local, there's attorneys associations. I don't
Well, you know
know.
who you could talk to.
Huh?
You know who you could talk to.
Yeah.
Robert Jacobs.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Robert is
Or
on our
Martin.
planning board,
Certainly.
and that's what he specializes in. So,
So, I mean, and if we had to hit every attorney in town, that can't be that many. I mean, there's a few, but it's not like 300.
yeah, I mean, the idea was this is going obviously to the organizations, and hopefully they will take the responsibility and disseminate it out to their membership. And that's what we're really hoping for. And that's why maybe the shorter version might be good. I don't know if these organizations have newsletters. They're probably, e-letters or whatever that maybe go out monthly or quarterly. Maybe it could get put into that, we'll see.
Is the historic district designation or individual designation caught up in the title search? Or is there anything normally that when a buyer sees that gives any kind of alert that they're in a historic district or a landmark?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
But your attorney should know.
I would think in a title search, what the property is zoned is part of that, that report.
I don't know,
Kevin, you
also
own
have that one.
properties and I don't see, ours is not a historic, so it didn't.
Robert Jacobs'
I was gonna-
business is,
yeah.
on Fair Street.
Well,
Yeah.
and he also owns a title company.
Right,
Yeah, would know this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he would, I think we'll have to flex him. See.
Yeah, I'll talk to
Sure.
I don't think I've ever closed, I mean, the house on Delaware Avenue, Yeoman's. Yeah. I think Sandy Hutton was the broker, so she just handed me a lot of HLPC documents. They were pointed to where they were in the house, actually. She didn't hand it to me physically, but she said, here's all the stuff in the house. And then there it was, the designation and all that, yeah.
Okay.
And the plaque was on the building.
So you already knew, okay.
Yeah, I already knew, yeah.
Okay.
I think the letters look great.
Yeah. All right, really good work. So just a motion to approve. And then we can do it a couple of times and we'll start with the short one and then do the long one in a few months. All right.
Second.
Yeah, do we need to actually make this a type of
Yeah.
action?
You don't really.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, you really don't see.
Then I make a motion to approve the attached letters to the Hudson Valley Real Estate Professionals with information on the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission benefits of owning historic properties and property owner requirements of doing work to designated landmarks. Trying to initially send out the shorter of the two letters first, and then later, at a later date, we'll send out the longer two, and elaborating on additional information.
I already.
Do I have a second? Second, Nettie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. And any other comments, questions, anything to state? Everybody's ready to leave, I know as well. Our next meeting will be Thursday, December 4th. And then I would so like to make a motion to adjourn. Second, Kevin, all those in favor? Aye.
Good job. You know, we talked about the lawn sign. It's a great idea.